So now that we had a look at Bitcoin, let's have a look at ETH and see how ETH is doing. So a lot of talk out there is on ETH has not been performing really well. And ETH is a large bag for me, in all honesty. My largest bag is obviously, of course, Bitcoin. But like for my spot position, a large portion of my bag is Bitcoin. And then it's ETH, and that's because I'm quite risk averse, right? I'm quite risk averse. And then in my other portfolio, which is mainly like my altcoins, and I should say like I've got the majority of my portfolio is Bitcoin here, okay? Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, right? Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. But in this portfolio, I'm allowed to move around quite a bit more. So I have ETH, Sol, NEAR. I've got other things like Phantom. I can't remember them all, to be honest with you. Phantom. What else can I remember that I might have? BNB. I've got quite a few stuff, right? I've got quite a few stuff in this portfolio, and I like to trade in and out of them, okay? But ETH being a large portion of even this portfolio here, right? And that's because I'm quite risk averse. I've got a bunch of Solana tokens in this one as well. And then of course I've got a portfolio which is just for leverage trading, right? So I've got more money in here and then less money in this portfolio here, and then even smaller amount in my leverage account. And that's how I run my thing, and that's how I'm going to continue to run my thing, right? Can't lose track of the aim, okay? What the aim was in the bear market when nobody was here. That was my aim. It was to keep true to my aim, and I've largely done it, right? I've had some moves across the way, but largely I've tried to follow on that portfolio, that sort of strategy, sorry. And you know, it's quite nice in the bear, you know. There's something quite nice about the bear when you're just sort of accumulating at lows, and nobody's around. Nobody's talking about no memes, nobody's talking about anything. You're just DCAing into Bitcoin and some ETH, and nobody's talking, nobody's out there. There's no disturbance, you know, there's no disturbance. You have a strategy and you stick to it. But when you get this blow off, when we broke out here, like at the start of the year, everyone was back, and it just becomes noisy, right? And you're more prone to like jump into things that you wouldn't have jumped into and things like that. And that's where we are today, right? So anyway, back to ETH. So ETH ain't looking too bad, you know, because we are getting higher lows, right? They are higher lows. There's no going around it. They're higher lows. Now, the problem, well, first off, one of the good things about me holding ETH is that when it goes to the downside, it's not nearly as much as some of the altcoins, but the pump up is not as good. And I'm waiting for this to pump out, right? I really want this to outperform Bitcoin, because I've been selling some of my Bitcoin for ETH. But anyway, we're looking at ETH versus the USDT, and it's largely the same as Bitcoin in a sense, right? Like, it's going to do what Bitcoin does. It's been a good child. It's waiting for Bitcoin to make a move, and it makes appropriate moves when it does, right? Like, if you look over on the right here, you can see Bitcoin slightly up 0.4%, and ETH is, sorry, I should have been looking at total. Screw what I just said just there. Total 0.7%, ETH down 0.4%, and altcoins 0.36%. So altcoins are generally outperforming ETH just today, ever so slightly, but more often than not, ETH has been holding up well in comparison to many of the other altcoins, right? It has been, even though today is not showing it very well. But that's why I like to hold ETH, right? Safer bet, risk averse. Cool. So if I was to kind of look at this chart, this actually does look a bit bearish to me, right? So what do I have here? What have I got on the chart? So I've got the weekly support and resistance levels where we've been acting as support all the way back here in 2021. We acted as support here, we acted as support here, it's been resistance here, and this is between 2,800 and 2,600. And then we got the sort of resistance levels here, support levels here, resistance levels here, support here. So these two areas are important, right? These two areas are important. Let's get rid of the RSI because we know what's going on since Bitcoin has been in play. I've showed you that on a previous video. Go check it out if you haven't already. And these are the sort of areas that we're focusing on, right? And I probably should say, right, I focus more on when it comes to these trend lines and as such, I focus more on the horizontals over like the trend lines, the downsloping trend lines. And what do I mean by that? I pay more importance to these ones where it says weekly swing support and resistance. So this yellow line here and this one here, more than these trend lines here, right? Okay, more than those, but they're still important. They're still important. So what were we tracking? It was obviously tracking this this rising ascending triangle, which eventually broke out, hit the target, got rejected, and we're able to draw this resistance level right here, right? We're able to draw that now. And that comes in from the last bull market when Ethereum hit, what's that, 4,800? A lot. It hit a lot. So why I said it looks bearish to me is because just in terms of its pattern, right? We've got like a symmetrical triangle and we came down into the symmetrical triangle. So if this was any other time, if this wasn't like October or Q3 of the halving year and Bitcoin, I didn't think that Bitcoin was going up, I would be projecting ETH to the downside, okay, where it would approximately be around 1,300, probably around these lows here. That's what I'll be projecting out. And if we do have some sort of black swan and Bitcoin does push back down, that will be my targets, right? That'll be my targets. But for the moment, ETH is putting in higher lows here. So it's very important that we watch these lows. It's very important that I watch these lows, I should say. Okay, and I can actually draw another trend line here, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm on a weekly chart. Let me try and get it a bit more accurate. So I'm going to go to a daily and see if I can get in a nice trend line that hits a few of those lows, which looks like around there. Let's zoom out a little bit. Cool. So I'm going to follow this trend line here and see how ETH deals with this. We've also got a resistance area here that ETH is running into right now. So let's see how it handles that. But what we want to see ETH breaking this, right? We want to see ETH breaking this, at least holding this as support, this 2,600 as support. I imagine it's going to get caught in between here. So maybe it consolidates here for a little bit, right? And then makes its move. Hopefully we see that. And when it pumps out here and it comes up to it breaks out at 2,800, then it can make its way all the way up here to 3,600. And that would be a major point of resistance there. And then we can see what we want to do after that point. But ETH, would I be buying ETH right now? No, we're at resistance. Resistance is resistance until it's not. Where would I consider buying some more ETH? Well, back at the trend line, to be honest with you. Back at that trend line. Usually I back up my fibs on things like this, but because ETH has been struggling a little bit, I feel safer buying at a trend line rather than the 50%. Or at the very least, I'll be buying the 618. So back up my fibs here. If we assume that this is the top, remember this top hasn't been formed yet, so we don't know if this is the top. But it's looking like it is. It's looking like it could be. The 618 comes in at 2,457. So that would be a place where I would stagger in a long up until that trend line there. So 2,500 all the way to like 2,350. I'd stagger in my bets like that. So let's leave that on the chart and see how it goes. Let's have a quick look at ETH versus BTC, see how that's doing, because my strategy has been to layer in my Bitcoin to ETH, and you can see it is still dying versus Bitcoin. It's, you know, the only positive thing I can kind of say about this is that I'm just so thankful that the majority of my portfolio is Bitcoin. And if I go to, sorry, I know this is like an ETH video, but like since November 2022, you know, it's been, you've been better off being in Bitcoin, right? Over any of these other coins. Now, not so much, right? Now, not so much. If we look at the resistance levels here in 2020, that's a significant resistance level, and that's where we are right now at 58%. So it's, from a Bitcoin dominance perspective, it's making sense to start layering out here, right? But at the moment, because I've been layering in like this, you know, my plan has been to layer into ETH from Bitcoin like this, and I've been staggering in my bets. You can see I've got an alert down here for my last little buy of selling my Bitcoin for ETH, and I'll do that, right? But if you want to be safer and you've got some ETH and you want to move it over into Bitcoin, wait until the breakout, wait until the retest, do it here, okay? You wouldn't get the low, but then again, if we break down, then you've saved yourself, right? And if I start to see some big closes down here and we drop past that level, then I'll have to go back from ETH into something else, depending on what Bitcoin's doing at that time. But I'll be exiting my ETH position because my plan had failed. But to be honest with you, it's very unlikely if we get to a stage like that, if it comes to like February, March, April, and we're hitting our head, that I sort of go back into Bitcoin. Obviously I have to judge the market at that time, but it's likely that I might go into another altcoin, or if we're approaching certain timelines and Bitcoin's looking toppy and the market's looking toppy, then I'll just exit into USDT, because it's not like Bitcoin's going to go up and ETH isn't going to go up. It's just that ETH won't go up as high. Okay, and you can't win it all, right? Even I get it wrong plenty of times. But yeah, that's a strategy for ETH. So let's have a look at something else. Let's have a look at Solana. So Sol, let's have a look at Sol. Where are you, Sol? Solana. What has Solana been doing since I've looked at the chart? Okay, cool. So it's been closing above this 50% level, and that 50% is the all-time high to the all-time low. That is strong. That's good. Sol's looking really good. Obviously, of course, we have that September low. We've got 30th of September. Is that when it bottomed? Sorry, let me throw you onto the daily. I just want to see where that bar is. There's the high volume, 5th of August. Yep, same time as Bitcoin, right? I just want to have a look at that October low. So Solana's looking good. Okay, we are getting in some really good higher lows here, and hopefully what we're working out to is an ascending triangle like that. And we'll probably have like a breakout target if it breaks out, which will push above this resistance level, hopefully above $200, holds it as support, and then away we go. That will look really good for Solana. And then its major resistance point for Solana is up here at 260. So look out for Solana. Solana's looking real strong. A pretty safe risk to reward bet, I think, is Solana. If you're late to Solana right now, where would I get in? Would I get in now? No, I wouldn't. I would be, let's get in a good trend line on Solana. Good trend line would be from here. Let's get these swings, as much swings as we can. It would look something like that going across, or you could draw it from there. Perhaps I'd put two of those trend lines, but more importantly, I would grab a swing. I'm not going to grab that swing. I'm going to grab the swing from this low here all the way up, and this is a bit of an art, right? Which swing to grab. You can see it's already come up. It has tagged this 50% already. It has tagged that 50%. 147 to 142. You could do something like that. I think the market's gone a little bit too fast. As I said, with Bitcoin, I would wait for the breakout. This is too close for me. It was too close for me. If it came down to 136, 128, that's where I'd buy. Anything else, I wouldn't entertain along. That's me on Solana. But Solana's looking really good. Where can it get to? Of course, its all-time high is up here at 256, right? $256. Can it do it? Of course it can. You know, are there other bets? Better bets? Perhaps Sui. Look at this. Look, Sui. Bananas. Now, of course, my rules wouldn't allow me to buy Sui at this point. If it was to consolidate up here for a little bit of a period of time, come down at least to this area, maybe I would have a look at it, but not really. It would at least need to come back down to this trend line. I'm sorry, that's just me. I couldn't entertain something like this. I'd need it to come down at least to the trend line, but better yet, the 50%. Actually, where is this 50%? This 50% is from that swing. So this is the wrong swing. That is the wrong swing. We want to grab it. Let's grab it from this swing right here, because it's looking like it's forming a high at the moment. To this low right here. Okay, cool. So yeah, the 50% comes in at $1.55. I like a 618, but because there's a trend line up here, don't be surprised if it goes like that and then you get a mad wick, and then you pick something up like up here, and 618's there. You've got the weekly swing there as well. So perhaps $1.18 all the way to $1.55. Layer in, that would seem like a more worthwhile thing for me to do if I was to ever consider Sui. And Sui is one of the darlings, right? Oh, and it lines up very well with this resistance level right here. Let me actually get an alert put on that. Can I get an alert on that? Oh, I'll do that afterwards. I don't know why my alert ain't working at the moment. Cool. I'll get an alert on that. That's Sui at one time as well. How is Near doing? Near, LMN, Near. What's Near doing? Okay, so I haven't looked at Near for a while. Apart from my last video, I want to go to the daily and see what it's been doing. Near's looking good. I've got its support areas here. That's really good. Came back down, retested the 618, bouncing off the 50%, looking really good. Looking like it's breaking out at the moment. Resistance level was there. Looks like you're breaking again, okay, because we broke out of this. We didn't even come in for a proper swing. We just hit the 618. hit again, 50%, breaking out. Maybe you get a retest. Okay, so maybe $4.82 or $4.65, and then you got your resistance levels at $5.03, and then a major one at $5.08. So that's near, and then the downtrend line that we've been in since we put in that all-time high at about $9. That's going to hit us around, where would that be right now? That's around $7. So that's the major resistance. You know, if we was to see near shoot up over the next couple of weeks or something like that, I'd probably take some profits here, perhaps, depending on what the market's doing, and wait for a pullback. If we don't get a pullback in this push up here, like not a major pullback, I'll probably sell some money here and then buy back in. Okay, I do like NEAR as a project, but if it was to do something like that and the market was all to take off, you know, I get scared of those things. I'm out at major resistance. I'll take a portion of my NEAR and reevaluate my situation. Other than that, yeah, those are the areas to purchase some NEAR. But NEAR, at the end of the day, we haven't come to its all-time high 50%. Haven't come to its all-time high 50%, but something that I have been considering for NEAR is my NEAR versus ETH, because it's still part of that portfolio that I mentioned. So NEAR versus ETH, where are you? One thing I have been doing is I've been trading in and out of my NEAR and ETH. So I've been selling my NEAR for ETH when I get to these sort of levels here, and it's been hard sometimes actually, because when we get here, you know, at these resistance points, it does sort of push out, like it wants to push out and then gets pushed back down. But then after a period of time, I'm just like thankful that I did do it. And then I did sell some up here as well. And again, you can see it did push out, came back down. You can see we're holding the 50%, but we need to break this trend line here that's coming down on ETH. And then maybe I might buy some more NEAR, trade some of my NEAR for ETH, but let's see how it goes. I've got an alert on the 618 actually. I've got an alert on the 618, and of course I will keep note of this trend line that's down here and then buy back some more NEAR. So that's the main ones that I sort of follow. Arweave, I do have Arweave, but I haven't checked out this chart in a while. I did buy some Arweave when it hit the trend line a while ago. I don't know how long ago. It feels like a long time ago. So maybe it was either this bar here or this one here. But I know I waited until it came down here till I bought some Arweave. So I'm hoping it does push up. Yeah. Let's see what Arweave does. Of course, it's all-time high. What's Arweave's all-time high? Oh my gosh. Wow, this thing's all-time high was $91. But I'm not married to any of these coins, you know. I'll wait until major resistance is hit and I take profits, bro. You know, these things have a good narrative, but make money and then get out. BNB USDT. Look at this thing. This thing's a fucking beast as well, you know. My gosh, people sleep on BNB. It is running into resistance right now. Okay. It's running into resistance right now, but I'm going to hold my BNB because it's a relatively less risky and less reward coin, but some of my portfolio is for that, and it's nice to have some of your portfolio in something that's less risky, right? So that's my BNB. Anything else that I have here? I don't have Fetch, I don't have ENS. GRT, I was supposed to buy some GRT. I think I mentioned it on a video. We was having a I didn't end up buying any GRT. We was liking a microphone channel, I believe, but why does it look like not a microphone channel right now? That's what I was considering. I'm sure I was considering it. Maybe I was wrong. And maybe it's a good thing I didn't buy it. But yeah, I was looking at it on this trend line here. It is up a little bit since then. We are up to 19%. Let's back out a fib on this. We are up to the 618 inversely here. Looks like it wants to break out though. So I'm not buying any GRT right now. If I had bought some, I would have been selling some of it at the moment. Didn't get in, that's fine. HRT, anything else that I have that rings a bell? I think I've got some Neutron. I think that's been doing terrible. I'm not too sure. What has Neutron been doing? Let's have a look at Neutron. Oh yes, I was tracking it because of this descending triangle. Okay, it's not doing too bad. Retest, and see this, and I've actually got my targets here. Shoot, right, all right. So it must be in my portfolio somewhere to do this. Hopefully it's on automatic taking out my profit. So those are my target levels, and let's see how it does. Up, it is up 50-60%, not bad. All right, cool. Continue to watch that. Anything else that I've got rings a bell? I know I put a sand trade on recently. I mentioned Sui. I think that's going to be about it for now. So yeah, good luck out there. That's some of the altcoins.